Today marks the 236th day since the Senate passed an inclusive, bipartisan Violence Against Women Act. Where a person lives, their immigration status, who they love, should not determine whether or not perpetrators of domestic violence are brought to justice. We are now hearing that Representative Cantor may propose another version of VAWA in the House that once again leaves millions of women off from the protections that this bill provides. We are all here today calling on the women of the House Republicans Conference to work with their leadership and to put the safety of all women ahead of partisan politics.
The last two times this bill was authorized, do you know what the vote was? 981 to 5. 981 to 5. The last two authorizations. Not one vote against it in the Senate the last two times it was authorized.
We got a strong bill out. We took it to the Senate floor. We got 68 votes for the Senate VAWA bill, including every single woman, Democrat and Republican, in the United States Senate. That is 17 women. Every single one of them voted for this bill. Immigrant women. I can't tell you how many cases I had when I was chief prosecutor in our county where a guy would prey on an immigrant woman because he would know that she would be afraid of being deported, and so she wouldn't come forward to law enforcement. That is why we have that visa program, to allow these women, when they come forward with a valid case of being abused, that they can pursue that case and that they will not become victims over and over again. It is almost exactly a year since we had a police officer killed in Lake City, Minnesota. He was a young police officer. He was summoned to a scene, and the scene was a 17-year-old girl, a victim, whose boyfriend had been beating her up. He went to the door, and the guy shot him in the head. He had a bulletproof vest on. That didn't protect him from being shot in the head. I went to that funeral of that police officer. It was Christmas time. A week before, the entire family, the police officer had been there for the church nativity play. A week later, those three little kids were walking down that aisle of that church for their daddy's funeral. The little girl in a bright blue dress with stars on it. That's something I won't forget.
We have sent a letter to the members of the House, the women members, calling on them to go to the Speaker. Now's the time. We're not going to leave some 30 million women behind just because of who they love, who they are, or where they live.
There was a woman who was being stalked by her abusive ex-husband in my state. She developed a connection with a police officer that was funded under VAWA funds. The police officer went, searched his car. There were loaded weapons in his car. This is an example where this woman credits her life being saved because of this bill that we are so hopeful and acting on that we can get done between now and the end of the year.
The whole world is watching you. The whole world is watching you. And you wonder why you don't get the support of women in elections? When you leave 30 million people out of the Violence Against Women Act, and you wonder? Well, wonder no more. There's a chance that Eric Cantor is going to put forward a bill that leaves 30 million people out. He should be ashamed of himself.
I'm completely baffled at this time, in this climate, with what's going on in this nation, with what happened in the election, with the strong voices of women across this country coming out, that they still are deaf. If there was a message in this election, it was that every American counts.